My husband didn't see our baby's birth, so doesn't believe it happened. Now he's refusing to bond with the baby, so I'm throwing him out. My husband, 29 meters, and I, 30 non-binary, have been married for 5 years. I gave birth to our first child in September, a girl. My husband was present for most of my labor, but things went very pear-shaped, and I had to have an emergency C-section. The doctors told him to leave the room and wait outside. So, in short, he did not see our daughter be born. A week ago he informed me that he wants to divorce and start over on his dreams of having a family. He insists that he cannot bond with our daughter and says it's because he didn't see her being born. Seeing is believing, right? He said a lot about how it has always been a dream of his to have a small, close-knit family, and now he can't have that with me because of the C-section and him not being in the room to witness the glorious arrival. His dad suggested therapy, but my husband refused, saying he knew it wouldn't work. I've made sure he knows I'm open to the idea if he changes his mind, but he's been very insistent that this can't be fixed. Part of me knows I'm basically asking for a magic spell here, but does anyone have any ideas how this could be fixed? Or has anyone experienced anything like this before? Update 1. Several people suggested asking him to come with me to a therapist so I can get help understanding why he's leaving. He agreed, and our appointment was yesterday. It didn't go badly, but it didn't go well either. He was very upfront with the therapist. He didn't try to mince words or refuse to answer questions. He told the man they got to bond the entire pregnancy. That baby is made of their body. I can't compare to that. My work started at birth and I wasn't there, so I don't feel like I ever got hired, if that makes sense. Yeah, he compared it to not having an employment contract. I get the metaphor, I guess, but I'm not sure how it translates to him not being able to bond. Strange. Several people made transphobic comments, and several other people asked if maybe my lack of gender was an issue. I assumed no because my husband had known that I'm non-binary since before we started dating, but I did bring it up while we were with a therapist. He insists that no, it has nothing to do with anything. He didn't care about what I am, but how I did. The therapist was very focused on trying to help me understand, and I appreciate that. No complaints with him. I'm still completely in the dark, though, and my husband has started talking about choosing a lawyer. He says he wants a clean break before our baby gets too attached. Update 2. This is probably going to be long, and it isn't a happy update. We have filed. I have taken my daughter and moved back in with my parents. They aren't very happy about the divorce but are thrilled to have the chance to nanny my daughter, their words, not mine. Life was in stasis for about a week after my last update, until my father-in-law asked us to come over for dinner. He informed me that my soon-to-be ex-husband had asked for his help paying for a lawyer. He had agreed with the requirement that we all sit down and have one last talk about the situation. He opened with saying that he thinks that getting this over with would be best for me and my daughter. My husband looked a little hurt at this. Anyway, what my father-in-law was saying was that he's willing to help, but he wanted to take one last shot at fixing it. The one last shot ended up being several hours of talking. He bluntly demanded that my soon-ex explain his reasoning. My husband just repeated the can't bond thing, and his dad asked why. The pathetic employment contract analogy was brought up again. After much back, forth, what do you mean by this, why that? His dad just said, I'm not buying this. What's the real reason, you child? My soon-ex continued to insist that what he'd been saying all along was his reasoning. He did not see our daughter be born, so he can't bond. He tried, he insisted. The connection isn't there. He was supposed to connect at birth, there was supposed to be a spark of connection between them, but that spark can only happen right at birth, I guess? In his mind he can't get it now. My father-in-law asked if he thought our baby wasn't his, but he insisted that he has no doubts he is our daughter's biological father. Then my father-in-law asked again if he was seeing someone else. Was there a woman or another pregnancy somewhere? Well, he didn't react well to this. He threw his phone down on the table and said that we were free to search it, he's not a scumbag. After that, the conversation turned to post-divorce life. My soon-ex offered up that he'd been running the numbers and would volunteer $50 per month alimony and $50 per month in child support. He doesn't have to do either, mind, because we're divorcing and he wants to cut all ties with the kid, but he wants to be fair. $50 in alimony? Whatever, I have a job and a roof over our heads. I don't need it. $50 in child support? That is a lot less whatever. But I'm refusing to stress about it, the court will handle child support amounts. I'm making myself not be angry and let them deal with it. I admit, I tuned down the rest of my father-in-law's attempts to talk sense into his son after that comment. I think that was when the coffin finally nailed itself shut. I started packing when we got home and went to my parents' house the next day. I'm no longer talking to my husband, his lawyer talks to mine. We haven't spoken in almost 3 weeks. I don't think I need to tell you that he hasn't shown any concern for our daughter, but here I am anyway. The day after I got there, my sister kidnapped me to her place. We got very drunk, daughter was with parents, not us, talked about everything and I screamed a lot. I got most of it out of my system. After that we had more drinks and watched terrible horror movies. I woke up the next day with a headache from hell but otherwise feeling better than I had in a long time. My job can't transfer me, just my luck, but I've been promised a glowing reference and I'm cashing out what little paid leave I have left to add to my savings. My father-in-law also asked after the failed conversation if I would be cutting him off. I assured him that he might not see us as much because of how far away my parents live and not knowing where I'll end up, but he's not getting rid of me or my daughter that easily. He was very happy to hear that. So that's where I am. Papers have been filed, daughter and I have moved out of the house, I'm doing my best to ignore my soon ex's existence. This is over.